Hello, hello, how are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day or wonderful night. Okay, today I'm going to be doing collective, and this collective is going to be about love and things collective. I should have based it on love, but no, I'm just going to do collective because there's a lot of crap that goes on from what I'm just pulling for collective, so I just can't really base it on love because I feel like there's a lot of things going on in the world. Some things I probably could say on here, some things I'm just going to rumble through and sound like a this or so just kind of like I hope some of you guys can just figure it out a little bit what I'm trying to hint to, because some things you can't be direct on YouTube with, okay? Because I don't want to be the apple that says, Zinga, I tried, but I tried to give it to you guys. I tried to push it out there, you know. Even though they say certain things you can say have free speech more now, but I still want to make sure that I'm not being too graphic, even though I know some things I've been saying for the past couple of videos, like squares and pies. I've been just off the chain with it, rain. And I'm like, ooh, girl, girlfriend, you need to stop, okay? But anyway, my name is Nicole. I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also share and also subscribe. It's very important that you do those two things. Why? Because when you're subscribing to the channel, then when I can go live. But if you're sharing the channel, I can also get more people who can also subscribe to the channel so that I can go live, so that I can also give you guys free reads. But also, if you would like a personal read with me, you can email me and I'll start reading up all night for 5 questions for 25. Ooh, I got it right. So therefore, hey, if interesting, let's fly on through here. Um, if you don't trust me, email address like I don't know this person, who this person is. I don't show my face. Um, I might kind of show a little more of me so you know that I'm a human being. I'm not a robot. I'm not AI, yarn. But if you don't trust it, you can continue to watch the free videos. They're up here. I'll try to give you, like I said, as much information I can. And when I can give it to you, like I said, I've been going through a lot of, ooh, child, dealing with people and their own little habits they have. So I'm going to try to get it to you as much as I possibly can, honey. So let's get started. Let's get started. Oh my gosh. I hope I didn't see that. But I'm sure I did. So I'm gonna try to get this under an hour, maybe 40, 50 minutes. Collective. Because you know how I do. I go on and on and on. But unnecessary stuff, which is not feel like a lot of stuff I'm saying is not necessary. I use stories of what I experienced to help you understand what I'm trying to get you to say, because sometimes I say random stuff like a hair comb or this or that. And it's like paint me a picture what you mean by hair comb. So that's why I go through a lot of stories when I'm doing my readings so that you can kind of get a picture eye of what I'm trying to say to you guys. So let's get started. I'm going to start from the past. As the collective reading, this is for everyone. I feel like everybody on TikTok is doing research. I feel like everybody is very, very worried about what's going on in the world today. So we have this heavy energy of what's going on, what's going to happen. Is the star going to fall out of the sky? Is the moon going to fall out of the sky? So we're dealing with this Virgo energy, which is now Virgo time, right? Virgo's transition to Libra season. Let me see, a couple more days. Oh, even no, I think tomorrow will be one more day in Virgo, and tomorrow will be in Libra season. So I feel like in October we always get hit with all kind of stuff in October. I don't know why October seems to bring in the storms for some reason, and it seems like everything is found out, discovered, or hit home in the energy of October. So, and for what I'm looking at here, I feel like a lot of people have to do a lot of cleaning up, letting go of things, and I feel like the old ways of how people think and see stuff, I feel like that has to be thrown in the trash as well. And the reason why I say that is because you can fight Aquarius energy all day long, but you're gonna be fighting just empty wind, because Aquarius is a wind. So imagine going up against a tornado. It's like about, oh, I'm better go up here and stop him because he's not for the company, tear my house up. He's not for the company, do this, and he's not for do it, and they turn around and do it anyway because you're not fighting God. God is God, and He is what He is. The knowledge that's behind the scene is forbidden knowledge, because some human beings cannot maintain that. Some human beings are so, how can I say, they're so congruent to do what they want to do, because the flesh is always female. And because the flesh is always female, you're going to want to take detours and do stuff that the flesh is calling you to do. If the flesh calling you to smoke and get high, you want to smoke and get high. The flesh is calling you to go out there and have 50 11 babies by the wrong term people, you're going to do that, okay? So I feel like a lot of people it's hard for them to understand the hidden knowledge, because that's why God allowed the angels to do it, because he knew that man had a curse over their life because of sin. You know what I'm saying? Because man had to go figure it out for themselves how they can save themselves. And I feel like the knowledge that was given to man, it's like, oh, I'm gonna help you, I'm gonna help you, I'm gonna help you, and it's still a waste of time, because people still gonna still do what they want to do, regardless of the hands of times are changing among you. As for instance, like for me, God, for those who sick, I will show you the answers to those things of what you're wondering about. And for those who don't question him and ask him about that, he's not gonna you gonna sit there be like in a wonderland, out in the wonderland, trying to figure out what's going on. Um, and see, for me, I've been wondering, like, what is this energy? Why does everybody feel like they're going cook for Cocoa Pops? I'm feeling good. You can wake up on the right side of the bed and feel good, and somebody around you, it's like a lot of people, it's like in this, uh, I'm negative, I'm ready for war, I'm mad, because once again, it's always helpful when someone pay the bills on time, or you use a wise decision and say, this guy is not gonna do the right thing by me. That's what I meant to add the Pisces on too. But at the same time, you end up having large bills in your name. You end up going through bankruptcy. You end up having to go through change because you laid up with this guy and he had no money. Guy said, oh, she's a gold digger. But at the same time, you got to understand these bills are gold diggers, okay? This rent is a gold digger, okay? This light bill is a gold digger. This water bill is a gold digger, okay? Go talk to them gold diggers first. Then you come back to me and tell me if I really am a gold digger. You know what I'm saying? Because things are not free. And tell me about the land prices and stuff. I have to pay taxes every day. Tell me who's really the gold digger, because you're telling me I'm a gold digger, but at the same time, you be around here digging for gold for me. So you have to be mindful of the fact that this world here, in certain parts of the United States of America, is not give you land for free. And even if you go overseas, some places over there is guarded by people who want you on this land because it's sacred to them, or have some kind of, they don't want you sleeping there or something like that. So it's always some kind of demon somewhere that's causing you to say you got to pay the price for being here, or you buy land somewhere and now you got to figure out how to get some cows and horses and pigs there, because now you have to have money for those. So there's always something that's going on, and you may say, well, God is a provider. He is a provider, but you also have um to be able to know his words, to ask him for those things. Because if you go out in the wilderness, you say, Lord, I got to go out here and find myself, because I can't take it no more in the United States of America. So you got to be in prayer with God and say, God, I need you to help me to get things lined up for me, because I need to take this journey, and I need to be on this journey to myself. And I need for things to work out for me. And I don't want to be working on anybody's job, saying yes to master, and I have to do some other stuff, some underhanded stuff for people. And see, I feel like a lot of that stuff, the sun is beaming again in my eyes, and I'm trying to read. And I feel like for some of you guys, you're like me. You're blinded. When the sun comes up in your eyes, it causes you to be distracted for what really is going on in reality, so that you can actually live accordingly to what is right. Okay? So what I mean by that is, if you are told to go off and get married and have kids, and then you turn around and don't have enough money to feed their kids, then you have to separate so the government can have to step in and take care of those children, because McDonald's don't always pay the bills. Burger King ain't gonna pay the bills. So many places here, as you see that woman, she got fired a drop of a hat from Burger King. So you have to be mindful of the decision that you make sometimes, but you just feel like, I'm feeling the flesh, and the flesh is telling me to do something, and you do it accordingly to what you're feeling at the high right now. And the high goes away, and then you stuck with these kids, and now you stuck with trying to find out how to feed them. You're crying, hooping, and hollering. You may have to give them up to your parents or to your grandparents, because you don't have enough money to raise those children. So we have to be mindful of what our flesh is calling at times. And I think it's hard for humans to comprehend that. And with Pluto and Aquarius inside transition, it's causing a lot of people to have to go back into life and reflect of how you do stuff in life. Because if you don't redo how you are doing stuff in life, you're going to be in a position where, and they got so many robots out here that being designed, that how you going to eat, how you going to survive, how you going to manage stuff if they already program this program to program other programs. You get what I'm saying? So in the midst of this thing right here, a lot of people are not seeing it, because this light is usually up for you to see the way. But because this light is reversed, that means some people are not going to comprehend what's going on. Just like me, this light in my eyes is blinding me, and it's still blinding me. No matter how I turn this light, it's still blinding me from seeing the truth. So that means I feel like a lot of collective people are going to be still denying stuff. Oh, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna be. But at the same time, how you gonna eat? You gotta understand. A lot of immigrations don't went overseas. A lot of immigrations are mad. So who was picking your crops? You know, they had a whole land of strawberries to go to the bag because they didn't have the crops and machinery to do it. Even though they have machines that can pick that stuff up, but you still have to have money to buy those machines to pick it up. So the government is not funding them the money to get those machines to get their crops picked up. So they out of two things: they out of machinery and they out of people to pick up the crops. They didn't put it out there for nobody to say, "But hey, come pick this crops and stuff up." Now you got prices of strawberries in the store; they're gonna be kind of high because this person here lost a whole farm of crops. You know, and some people say, "Oh, that's a gimmick. That's the one way to them to get money out of the company." Well, that might be a gimmick. That might be one way, but how he gonna feed his family next couple years down the line if he decide to say, "I'm gonna keep losing my crop," and then what happens when they stop giving him money for those crops? You know what I'm saying? So some people may be overflowed with crops, and some people may be overflowed with loans and needing that money. So what do when everybody the check can't get to you on time for you to save your family from going down a hill? So you have to plan and budget yourself and make sure you got things in order instead of just sitting there buying, spending money frivolously and not doing what you're supposed to do. Because some people will let crops go just to get the insurance money so that they can build, so they can buy crops, buy another machine. But then sometimes your kids get in trouble, and you have to get that money off to your kids because you need a lawyer. A lawyer costs a lot of money for some people, and then you got to try to figure out how I'm gonna get my crops and pay for your lawyer for this thing that you in because you're trying to save your children. You see what I'm saying? So there's always a thing coming up when you think you got money to do something else and you can't even do it because now your children, you got to try to have their back on what they're doing, or their grandkids. You got to try to figure out how to wait for them when you got money planned for something else. You get what I'm saying? So it's situations like that that we have to learn to look at it from a way of saying, hmm, we got to change the way we run things, the way we do things as a collective type of people. We have to rearrange stuff and say, hey, is this fiddle for the fiddle? Do I want to be judged by this? Do I want this to be on my character? Do I want this to backfire on me later on in life? So, like I said, they make a lot of movies that make sense. That what if that actually happened? Are you prepared for that? People want aliens on the earth so bad. So I'm like, if you had those kind of things on here, how would you live with something like that? Did you really think that as a human being you can live with something that's like that? Are you prepared to die in within seconds if something like this to come around and zap you off the earth or hit you or something, you know? And I think people are just anxious for something to happen and not realizing that they have to prepare their soul for the other life if you leave this world, because that soul is gonna be like the wind. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do when if it's something like that actually does come around? I seen this thing on TikTok where this man had this little fuzzy black thing out there, but at the same time, it looks fake. It doesn't look real. It looks like some kind of mechanic thing. I don't know. But suppose that is real. What you gonna do if that virus actually hits the world and hit everybody? Some people saying they think it's from the ocean. They don't think it's real. It looks like something from the ocean. It doesn't look like it's real. Okay, collectives. All right. I have to pause there for a minute, and now I guess I have to start wherever I can went to because I had to end it for a minute and come right back to collective rhythm. So, as I was doing before, I was talking about the past and identifying things that people need to pay attention to because, once again, we're in that Aquarius season where Aquarius and Uranus and Pluto is all together. And Uranus is one planet and Pluto is another planet. So, if you put those two planets together, you have this. It's like them sitting right beside each other. It's like having twin sisters who sit beside each other. They're not actually twins, but Uranus creates, and Pluto is kind of like a planet wherein it gives you sort of like the energy to be able to create those things. And what happens is when you create those things, um, it's either a beginning and a stop. So it's like you get super excited about something, and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, what happened? It just collapsed," you know. Because Pluto is a cold, cold planet, and if you ever experience something that's extremely cold or watch how it freezes, it's like it's growing onto this idea that you have, and it's kind of like causing it to be something that is covered in ice, so it says, and it causes it to be defected, if you get what I mean. And it's the way we have to look at it relating to what's going on in our lives. So if you ever notice when people create cars and stuff, they get so excited about something and then all of a sudden they become shamed or embarrassed by what they created because Tesla cars blows up or the robots self-destructs, so it's like, what happened? Why did this come to an end? So it's sort of like those energy where you don't comprehend why something seems to be a wonderful ideal that you created, but it also kind of like now you have to keep constantly creating with Aquarius. Aquarius energy, you have to constantly create, and then you have to step out of Aquarius of creating, and you step in what the people doing. The water bearers as woman and female who's feeding each other's emotions and ideals and dreams and stuff. So people are dreaming. People are dreaming with the Uranus, and they're creating ideas and they want these dreams to come true. So, of course, a lot of people on social media. So, we got social media being created. So, people constantly want to show their faces, want to show up what they're doing, and constantly want to be very seen. Water is a vision, a reflection of you. So, you're constantly being seen, you're constantly creating something to be seen from. And Pluto is a planet where some people goes up and their success come down. Their success go up, success come down. So we deal with the energy like that. Then you got to deal with Leo. Leo's part of Aquarius energy as well. Leo is I think Leo is ruled by, let's see. Oh my gosh, do I even know what planet Leo's ruled by? How can I not know what planet Leo's ruled by? Leo's ruled by it's not Mercury, Saturn, Rain. No, no, no. Oh, I don't know the planet is ruled by. That's strange. And all my phones is in the house. Oh my word. But anyway, you still have to do it Pluto. Leo is same similar thing where people are just going to be more loud and aggressive and pretty much want things their way. And for me, I say Leo and Pisces what ruled the world a long time ago, and I think that's a lot of people who felt like people have to do for me versus me do for myself. Um, you want a lot, but you want somebody to do it for you versus Aquarius is like you got to get out there and hustle and get it yourself. You have a lot of people on social media is like you got to do it for yourself. TikTok and YouTube, all these social media platforms make you get out there and hustle it for yourself. Now you can get people who edit it for you and do all kind of other stuff for you, but it's mainly your face has to be the one that actually bring it to the. You have to be really determined to get this for yourself. So I think that's the only bad thing about Aquarius. It's like he make you fight for your life, for yourself. So actually, he also make you fight for other people as well. So sometimes you have a crew to stand together, as I said before. When Pluto gets in the house of Aquarius, you have a lot of people coming together for 22 years who want to stand up and fight for rights and cut people off. So everything that you've been doing and creating for the rights of people in back in the past, it's like everybody is doing it and not knowing that they're doing it. And people look around like, what is this going on? It's like they can't help but do it because they can't help but see the wrong because they have social media platform that's giving them this whole picture of what's going on. Some of it's false, as Aquarius could be can lie, be deceitful. Also, Leo comes in place in his fire sign. He's definitely is somebody who will lie and once you get all hyped by something within seconds, and then it's just within minutes, your stuff is gone. Everything you ever earned or worked for is gone. But at the same time, it also is a comet thing. So that means with Pluto in the house, he's also and water reflection. It means that you got to be careful what you do because it has to reflect back on you as well. The water is reflection. So he also is karma. He represents images of what you put out there, what you want to see back to you. So I think that's one of the biggest things with Pisces and Aquarius is the reflection of what you do that you want it to see to come back to you. Because Pisces is basically the fish where he swims, they swims all throughout the sea and stuff like that. And they're constantly eating, and greedy for stuff. And that's why you have a lot of people who's greedy for money and making big crops and stuff. And they want people to come work for them to help them make money for themselves. So Pisces have a tendency to be very selfish. And so can Aquarius. Aquarius can give if you actually talk to them, they will give to you and give to you if you constantly make them feel like they're wrong. But they can also be very stingy, but they can also be very giving as well. But the difference between those two is that Aquarius is a thinker, and they take a long time to think about logic. Versus Pisces is more like a straight up, let's hurry get it done before somebody don't want to do it. I want to push you to do it if you don't. I want to tell you lazy, you ain't worth a crap if you don't do it. So you hear a lot of people back in the days always call people lazy because you couldn't use you and they want you to do it for free. So it's a bunch of manipulation with Pisces energy. Pisces like to manipulate you. So that's Aquarius sort of, but Aquarius energy is more like um I can't manipulate you so long for too long because I have a heart. I feel guilty for doing it like this. I feel guilty for mistreating you. So that's what the problem Aquarius. They have that one day they're pissed off and cussing you out and going off, and the next day they want you to pamper them. Pisces, you have to bully them before they bully you. You have to be able to step on their heads before they keep coming step on your head. If you don't never stand up to them and they see you weak and they know they can constantly walk over you, Pisces is going to do it. Now they are very strong people, so make good very fighters. They make very good fighters if they stay because they could be they're fishes. So the fishes goes up to the mines of a well. So just imagine a Pisces person actually working out and building up their strength and their mind will matter to that strength of a well, because they can be very mighty people like the Cancers, not the Cancers can be too, and the Capricorns, because they are creatures from the sea. Scorpio, I don't think Scorpio's a sea creature. I think he's like a land creature, sand dust person. That's what I'm saying. But Pluto makes some kind of vicious person. The disease that he gives you. Scorpio gives off venom. So that's why a lot of times, a lot of them, when you come attack them, a lot of them will have certain diseases that are in your life in 5.2 seconds. You be like, what the hell? So that's kind of like their weapons. They can't help with that. And you think that stuff is false and that ain't true. And most people you meet that Scorpios half the time they always have that something going on with them that's daily. You be like, what the world? Oh my god. So that's why I say you have to be cautious sleeping around with Scorpio type people and Taurus people and them are two of a kind. So that's what I feel like a lot of people. I'm stressed out on this. I'm stressed at this point because a lot of people are in that energy where they're trying to seek and figure out what's going on, what's the next move. I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. But see, they've been manipulated so much with Pisces energy, so it's hard for them to get out of that because they actually can't see their way clear. I mean, it's here for them to see. It's a light there. It's like people giving information, insights on how to do it the right way so that it can be better for everybody. But everybody's still like trying to keep that Pisces energy because they've lived in it for so long. I think Pisces energy was like for like, 2,000 years, 1,000 years. That energy stays inside of a I forgot what they call it. I can't think of that either. I used to know this stuff back to back, but because I had them laid back from it for so long, so I don't even know my astronomy. I used to have astronomy on my thing, and I mean, astronomy with me was just big. Now I'm just like, oh, no, it comes to me, it comes to me, it don't. But anyway, like I said, it's like basically it's hard to tell someone to be 2 steps ahead of something, and they're like, Aquarius represent police a lot. It represents anybody who's in law enforcement, lawyers, it represents your military people, all of those people that serve and protect people, it hits them like a magnitude. Okay, as you can see, every time you turn around, it's like boom, 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 because that stuff that hits you like, whew. When I say it's either the good thing or bad thing, when you inside those fields with that, it seems like you get caught in what you're doing so fast, or you get hemmed up with stuff you try to keep a secret because Pluto brings everything to the light. You may say have because he give you either you bring it to the light and you try to hide it like Pisces energy, try to manipulate stuff. Oh, it ain't happen. Oh, Pluto is gonna bring it to the light, and Pluto brings it to the light. He's gonna hit your children. He's gonna hit somebody else that gonna make you feel like you wish you never had done stuff. So that's why I say you got to be careful with that manipulation that you have to comprehend that is going on and that you need to change with it. How it says go with the flow, like y'all trend everything. That's something you need to trend, change, get out of that mindset of you're my slave. Get out of that mindset. Get out of the mindset that I want all of this and I want you to praise me because that's not what Aquarius is. Aquarius is for the people. Aquarius is like everybody to get. Now Aquarius is selfish. Aquarius do also have a mindset of power, but their mindset are weak. You can always overtop them for some reason. Aquarius is like You know, it's hard to keep them on that level. But once again, you see how the people be canceling out all those people and stuff like that. That's the whole part about that is everybody is always going to be working together for 22 years, hard, strong. And it's going to be for a long time, and for probably for 1,000 years, because Aquarius is going to be in this season for 1,000 years. But the war, the bad stuff about that, is going to be on people's head because of Aquarius. So look here, it says petty war, um, sell stuff. Okay, exclusion. The heck? So, yeah, a lot of people get inside of the forces. So a lot of people taking those jobs. A lot of you guys gonna need your energy pumped up. So you guys may be feeling tired. Cages. People being locked up in cages. Leading environment with candidates. What? Another card. A candidate. Tested. Learning. Some of you guys look for new homes. Some of you guys will be building new homes, getting new homes. Some of you guys will be reading the prize. Genius at it. Some people will not be. Some people that did something, say for instance, like you trying to figure out who did something, that person that did what they did never been held for trial, never been held accountable for something they did. Yeah, so I guess you probably say, where is you? Why is it such a long pause? Because I'm reading. Some people will be settled out of courts, so maybe a lot of cases being settled out of courts. They probably celebrate legendary people that have their name in. It's been doing stuff for a long time. Secrets, it's a lot of secrets. It's being held back. Some people won't be digging into secrets. Some of you guys are worried about hidden lights. You could find or discover that hidden lights somewhere in your house, or somewhere in the hotel, somewhere around you. You can discover that bus. Hidden cameras, maybe inside the lights. Ooh, what the heck? Confessions. Some of you need to pay more attention to your kids. Some of you guys do not like to take care of your kids. Someone's feeling very powerful in their position. I'm reading for the collectives. So when I'm reading for the collectives, I'm doing a collective as saying out things that's actually coming through. Some of you getting good deals on cars, new cars. Some of you guys, when you're around certain people, when they leave the house or leave your area, you may feel good. Or sometimes when they're around you, may feel sleepy and tired and groggy. So it could be sometimes they have an evil eye. Yeah, somebody have negative thoughts with you that don't say it. Some of you guys may have to seek counsel or a lawyer. Some of you guys may be somebody that's very charming. And you may have a husband who has to do all the cooking in your house or love to do all the cooking in your house. Something to do with a Waffle House waiter. Something to do with essentials. Essentials must be something very important with essentials. Gas. Some of you may have gas, or maybe you may have to worry about gas prices. Hopefully not. Some of you guys may have to deal with somebody who's undercover, who's spying on you. Someone is a basketball player, someone is a teacher. Sometimes somebody you hang around could be very crabby. Something to deal with a priest. Something to deal with priests who's messing with and may have to be exposed. I see that on it already. Some of you guys are worrying about whether or not a female jumped on another female and whether or not she actually X'd her, and they're saying she did not. They both jumped on her, but they did not hurt. They did not jump her to the point where she actually passed away. Okay, so that's enough of picking out what could be a main thing that you probably could be concerned with. Let's look at these. Let me pause this. Okay, collectors, be mindful of some of you guys writing bounce checks. I didn't know they did checks anymore. But be mindful of someone doing a check or a scheme or something and telling you that, hey, go pick up some money from the bank, and it's not a real check. I think a lot of people know that, but fire signs and water signs, I think you guys tend to be very naive to that. Be mindful of someone telling you that it's a check and you go to the bank and try to cash it and then you turn around and you go to jail for it. So be mindful of that. Because I had I won't say family, but a friend of the family. He went down to the place thinking that he was gonna go cash a check, and this person told him to go down and do it. And I don't know if it's a cop that did that with him, so I feel like it was some kind of undercover cop that did, because why would the cops be there waiting for him to try to do that? And then he seen that there was the cops and moving in. You know, I could tell somebody moving in, because sometimes people think you're just dumb and rural, don't have a second sense of what's going on. So when he went in there, it was like somebody was trying to walk up to him, so he turned around and went back out. So it's like they kind of try to set you up to do something. You see what I'm saying? So be mindful of someone trying to set you up and try to pretend that it's some money for you to pick up when they actually want to just set you up, just arrest you for no reason. Okay, so just be mindful of fake money schemes or checks and stuff. A phone call when somebody just call you out of the blue and tell you they just want you to go pick up a check for a bank and cash it, or put it in another deposit bank, and then the cops is that arrest you. Does it make sense? You see what I'm saying? It seems like the cops is in on that if they're telling you to go and pick up a check. Okay, like who does that? Like for real. I think I need to cover this up. I feel like it could be because for some reason when I come back, I feel like somebody's watching me and telling me don't come back. I feel like a lot of you guys are going to spiritual readers for guidance or for information. So I feel like this card comes out because it's very high where a lot of people are going in, because I feel like a lot of people are going through so much stuff with Aquarius, because Aquarius is about a bunch of people being busy. So I think people have so much chachos because the opposite of Aquarius is conflict, you know what I'm saying? Because they are the swords and they have a bunch of anger arguments and he said she say and telling your business things going on, because if you know Aquarius person, you know pretty much what they're doing, and that's the energy that's for some of the Aquarius. If you tell them something, they're gonna tell everybody the business, or they like that person. If a lawyer comes and want to know something about you, Aquarius got them. Aquarius gonna let them have it. They're gonna tell everything they know about you, and so that may kind of like hit a nerve when someone tells, oh, you're extreme business. And it could be people also telling their own business and telling other people what's going on in life. So you could have an environment where people actually are crisscrossed, they're telling their business as well. Some of you guys are probably dealing with your best friend. So some of you guys may fall in love with your best friend. Someone who you spend more time with, and you just find yourself, oh my gosh, did we just fall in love? Did we just get it off? So it is what it is. Once again, this is another some of you guys, I feel like, are having marital problems. You're doing all of this, like, we just got married, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, all this drama coming through. It's like, where did it come from? It's like, how can I say? I could have made a scenario about this one time before, but let's see. It's like wintertime and summertime. It's like one day it's summertime and you walk out the door and you be like, whew, it's so beautiful out here. And they realize that where did this wind chill come from? And I feel like some of you guys had just got married. You are married to someone where you thought that the sun was shining bright, and all of a sudden this personality is just so cold hearted and negative and nasty, and so you're like, excuse me, sir, did you know what happened to my husband, or do you know what happened to my life? Because this is, I don't, yeah, what's the name? A Stranger in My House? Yeah, so you had a song, A Stranger in My House, and the person's really is you, but you can be like, no, it's not me. It's definitely you, because I was happy the other day when we got married. I mean, it was just yesterday. As a matter of fact, it was just 24 hours ago. As a matter of fact, it was 5 hours ago we just got married. And who was you? I need you to go back and push some kind of button so they can transform you back to where you was at and you transfer back my husband and my wife. Because I don't like the version of you, okay? It's like somebody paid TikTok with you and took somebody out of the spot and put this other little chess piece in there. And you looking like, I know you lying. No. We are not finna go forever with this. No. I know one day we're gonna pass away and we're gonna leave this earth on this side. But until then, I'm not gonna spend those days and years with you acting like that. I gotta go. I realized that I was living in a fantasy world. I must have woke up or something. Did I wake up? Or what's that cold chill and breeze kind of like tap me on the shoulder like, girl, you need to wake up. This is reality now. This ain't no fantasy world no more. You can't paint that world because I've cursed this world. I've cursed it. Yeah, I cursed it. You didn't know what's cursed? You thought you were going to jump in this marriage and it was going to be la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. No. I told you this shit was real. I told you right there. Oh, you didn't read it? You ain't read it? It's online. You heard people talking about it and you didn't want to hear it. You pushed them away. You did. You remember you pushed Becky away and Becky told you, girl, let me show you this Bible, what God said it's going to be like when you get married. What he might do, what she might do. Girl, let me tell you what them churn might be like. Come on, let me tell you, girl. You like, I don't want to hear that. Don't talk no negative stuff over me. And God was like, whoo. It ain't negative. It's called warning. But you go ahead and take your naive self up there and think that I'm playing with you. And you thinking I ain't going to stomp on your head. I told you ain't no man going to live on this face of earth in peace. I've cursed it. So what kind of peace of paradise you trying to find up in here? Not over here. Not on this turf. Okay, I said what I said. I ain't changing nothing. You gonna leave me for him? You gonna leave me for her? Then you know paradise is on. It's on, baby. I'm gonna show you what paradise really like. Okay, it's cold out here. It's a cold out of the planet. And I think that's a lot of people misunderstand that this world here is not like you think it's supposed to be for the marriages that you think you want to be in with some people. And some people fight. Some people, hey, have tough skin and they cannot look at somebody walking about them. And they cannot fall for somebody's lyrics and telling you so fine, you so sexy, you so this, I want this, I don't this. You know, some people have to experience negative stuff for them to realize that they have a good person at home. Some people just like bump it. I'm gonna go through the weather because some people like to argue, especially fire signs, especially Aries. Boy, they like to you. They like to push you to the point to test your manhood so bad, and you be up like, I know good and well, I ain't went from being humble to I'm about to go catch a charge, and I know for a fact by the time I get through with her or with him, they're gonna put it on the news and say, "No, you can't even see this because this is too graphic." Okay, I'm just saying, a lot of y'all are in that spirit where you just it ain't worth it no more. It ain't worth to get married. It ain't worth being in a relationship, but you're gonna try it anyway. As you can see, the flesh says, I want this and I want that. Okay. But some of you guys, you have some karmic debt that you need to clean up, and some of you guys keep adding to it. Okay. So how deep are you gonna get it for some of you guys who just refusing to get yourself right with God? Refusing to get yourself right with yourself. Okay. You refuse, and what I mean by that, I was dealing with this Scorpio family member. She was a family, but her child is family to us. And it seemed like the more you told her, the more she talked like she has everything together and everything in her life was coming together. And you will see her reach a plateau where it's like, wow, girl, you are successful, you're getting it. And all of a sudden, she just turned around and get goofy. Every time she got paid, she got goofy. And you may say, what you mean by that? Every time she got a paycheck, she was like, wow, this is a lot of money. It's like I won the lottery. And it's like you have such intelligence or such a skill that you can make more money than that. But in her mindset, it was like, let me blow it on drugs. Let me spend it on gambling so I can get more money. And it's like being sloppy and not having the common sense. She would go and buy stuff that's probably cheap, but at the same time, she would spend money on substance that was very kind of like cheap. But by the time you get through paying all that money, it really wasn't cheap. And it didn't make sense to hear the information and not actually do something behind it. So it was like constantly trying to help somebody to be a better person, and they affecting your life because you're trying to help them, and they're draining you and people around you because they don't want to get it together, and they keep running around in circles and then turn around crying and screaming, "How nobody wants to help me? Nobody gives F about me." And then she's a whole victim, and she's really, really, really screaming hard and crying like, "This hurts me so bad." And it's like she make you feel like you just gotta be there for her. You just gotta help her. You just gotta stop. And when you try to get her to go get some help, she will talk so super intelligent like a demon. And when I say like a real, real live demon, she will have so much intelligence to it's like, oh, I thought you needed help. I didn't excuse me. My bad. And that's just how super duper intelligent she was taught to keep you from seeking to get her some help. And it's like, what's in you that makes you come off to be such a victim and do stuff erratically sloppy and then turn around and act like you the poor victim? It doesn't make any sense. And she does it every time she gets paid. She would have an excuse and say, everything is on me. Everything is on me. And you're like, no, it's not. But you keep pulling in the wrong directions, and then when you look at it, you're like, I can't do this. What am I supposed to do? Why is everybody counting on me? And it's like nobody's counting on you. Everybody wants you to work together. We want you to actually come and participate. And when you're thinking, like, no, do what, do what, do I'm a 2-year-old. And have you ever seen a 2-year-old who goes off and do la yada yada, do what they want to do, and you're like, that's incorrect structure. You can't live like that. You can't put the thing on falk into the socket and think that you're going to survive. It's going to electrocute you. You know, you cannot take the money and blow it on what you want to do and expect people to have a place to stay. You can't not do certain things and then hold off you the victim if the lights need to be that get cut off. If someone is paying the lights, and you come in the house and you turn the AC down to 0, and then the light bill goes up, and then you're like, oh no, I'm so hot, I need the lights on, I need the lights on. And it's like you acting entitled when you're the one who's running the light bill up. You leave the lights on, you don't cut off stuff, and then you expect that things are supposed to automatically be on and be there when you are not contributing. You're not doing your share. You don't want to pull your share out because you cried the full victim. You're too old for that. You're not a child. You have children who's it's their time to act like that. It's their time to be taken care of. Not you sit back and always want their positions. And she don't see it like that because every time you put her in that position, she turns around and acts super, super intelligent and like she's super, super responsible and like you're the dummy and you're the one that don't know anything. Da, 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 da. You know, and I hate to say those kind of words, but that's the massive manipulation that comes out from her. It's like, wow, I can't believe you're acting in that way. And I tell that story because a lot of people in the world act like that. They don't feel like they're supposed to be responsible for nothing, but they feel like everybody's supposed to carry it away for them. And you may say, that's what we're talking about with welfare and food stamps and stuff like that. People shouldn't have to get that. That's true. If you're working on a job, then you should pay people what they're worth and not pay them what you think that $7 or $8 or $10 or $25 will pay. You know good and well $25 is not gonna pay $1,000 or $1,500 or $3,000 rent. You know it's not gonna pay that. So if you have a business and you can't lower your prices down enough so people can come to the business overflow your business, or you can't make a profit wherein people can actually make a living, then why are you in business? And why do you think people are supposed to work for you for that price? And why do you think that people are supposed to cut off those food stamps and other substance if you don't pay enough? And if you fire people, if you have a state that has at you can file at any time you want to feel like firing somebody. It's called free at will. If you have a state like that, then you need to keep food stamps going. You need to keep welfare going. Why? Because the reason is you're not paying people enough to sustain themselves. If you don't pay people enough to sustain themselves, then how you do that? Because if you in laws and you do things that according to where you feel like it's selfish of your heart, that's karma. It's major karma. So how do you gonna feel when people do your family like that? How do you feel when your family comes around and they have to the point where they have to live according to the laws that you have set for other people? You see what I'm saying? So people have to think when you're in this position. That's why I say they're so happy when these kids graduate. Oh, my child got honor. My child got 15 colleges to choose from. Oh, da 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 da. Okay, if your child gets into positions that's high, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna make the change? Are they gonna fight for changes? Are they gonna stand their grounds and make sure the laws get changed when people outside is fighting for those changes? Are you gonna be the one who vote yes for bill for people to get paid more money? Are you gonna be the one who understands that people need to eat to survive? If you're gonna be somebody who's gonna say, "Oh, $25 is the right minimum wage," then are you gonna be the one who stands up and say, "Yes, they have the right to get food stamps. Yes, they should begin the welfare check." Oh, nobody needs a crutch. Yeah, nobody needs a crutch, but nobody needed a crutch for almost 500 years either. But you needed 500 years of somebody to depend on to take care of your crops and take care of your land. Why did you need that? It hasn't even been 100 years yet, have it? And if it has been 100 years, it's still been like you haven't paid people the right kind of money to survive. So you have to get out that mindset of being selfish and thinking that it all belongs to me because God is only God and everything belongs to Him. And I think that a lot of people as collective have to stand your grounds and understand that um you as a human being, you are important, and the jobs that you have are very important and the position you have is very important. You don't ever want to leave this world and know that you didn't actually do right by human beings and say, okay, I have this position that you deserve to eat. You deserve to have a roof over your head as equally as me. You know, you may say nobody's equal to you. The Bible says it does say that. It says that because of the way that we're being hard headed and we feel like we could do things according to our way. So of course some people are going to get judged and sickness is going to fall on people and all kind of stuff is going to happen because the Bible says that. I'm not me. I'm not speaking negative stuff in existence. This is not my existence. This is God's existence. You know, I can only tell you things that hey, insights and says what we can change, what we can better. You don't have to change nothing. You can keep everybody making $2 an hour. You can put everybody in slavery. But at the end of the day, that is your soul that has to get judged by the Almighty God that do exist. And when He exists, I promise you, if you never met a hurricane or a tornado, you don't want to meet them. Because you meet them people, you can be like, so he exists? And I played with this? I was selfish with this? Whoa. Why couldn't I have been glorified? Why couldn't I have been in the glory of doing things in the glory? And when I mean in the glory, being like God will treat other people. It's not that hard. But some humans act like I gotta have it all now. Then later on, you're gonna find out you wish you had it. For some of you guys, you're dealing with a preacher who runs a congregation. And this congregation that he runs, he got many people who's helping him run it. And the way he runs it, it runs with chief gather kids and other people. And I can't really say all that right. For some of you guys, I feel like you're going to be focused on someone who may have to go to prison for something that they're doing. So it could be like everybody's wondering who's going around putting people inside the bayou or bayou or something like that. So I could feel like it's a huge focus on this, someone who murders someone. And also it could be another focus on somebody who's going to prison for exing a female. For some of you guys, I feel like you guys are marrying some people for the money. I think a lot of you guys are just panicking and scared, and you want to marry somebody who's a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, who has a lot of money. So I feel like a lot of you guys like, I gotta find a millionaire. Oh Lord, I gotta keep my body in shape. I gotta work it out so I can stay in shape. And maybe some of the young guys are feeling like they don't have any self-esteem and they don't have any kind of skills. So maybe they find out sugar mamas that have a lot of money. I know that's right, Clive. But some of you guys, I feel like a lot of collectives, you're gonna be having this energy where a lot of you guys are going to be coming home from work and catching things going on that just may not feel like it's a big deal, but you're gonna take it as a big deal, you know. And some of you guys gonna find out that, hey, I know you lying. Where the clothes at? Where y'all clothes at? Please find them clothes because I'm about to lose my mind. I'm about to catch a charge. No, as a matter of fact, I'm catching a charge. Some of you guys gonna be walking away because this person here is walking away. And the other person's like, if you leave me, I'm going to ask you if you leave me. And you're like, I'm going because this is what you want. And you're like, I don't want them. I don't really want them with you. You know, some kind of craziness going on right now. As we can see, we know a lot of people talking about STDs and stuff like that. I feel like a child care episode factory is coming up again. I feel like a lot of people are talking about that. I don't know what's going on with the child care thing, but I feel like when some parents are dropping their kids off the child care, you already worry about that, right? But I feel like this is another incident coming up where somebody's child may not be taken care of, may have to look out for the child may wander off on their own, stuff like that. Something to deal with daycare. Well, we know a lot of trafficking going on for extra money, so we already know that stuff goes on. So be mindful when you're out in public. Make sure you have a tag on you, a GPS tag, so when someone come pick you up, you better hide the thing somewhere on you so that you can be found. Okay, especially when you feel like you want to work out and fine and sexy for the people. Make sure you have a GPS on you so you can be located. Okay. Some of you guys are just worried about jobs that you make that are middle class. I feel like you guys are thinking like, what are the features for these jobs? Are they going to be here for the future? Are they going to be gone? And I think you pretty much already know the answer to that. As I can say, you know, you keep making electronics, robots, and stuff. I think that a lot of people on social media, like I said, you got to understand what the Bible's trying to tell you. And I think a lot of people have that fear is that we can't stop existing. We have to keep going on, you know. So I think one day when you pick it up and actually comprehend it and understand that he said you're going to turn to dust. And when you turn to dust, I'm going to give you a new body. And I think nobody understands that part. So maybe one day when you understand that, you'll stop panicking, thinking that if I don't have 1,300 bananas, or 1,500 times, then we're gonna stop existing. And I think when people stop getting out of that blind and start thinking and start looking like Aquarius energy probably should have you thinking and focusing, I think maybe then you kind of get it. Also, I feel like for some of you guys, if you're looking for a big time Asian people to go down, it might get a person might get arrested, might be in the news for that, buddy. Some of you guys might be saying Romeo and Juliet, I love you, come back to me. So somebody could be one of singing to you. Young kids could be writing books in jail. Somebody, young child. That's a sad thing. That's sad. That's really sad. Some of you guys have kids that they can't do the homework, they can't seem to focus because you got them doing all kind of chores and doing everything for you while you out running around on social media trying to look flexing or trying to flex on social media. So sometimes your kid kind of needs your help at home. Okay, I'm trying to see something here. You need to. Some of you guys are dealing with someone who feels like you need to pay more money for rent. So I feel like right now we're dealing with that issue where people are trying to figure out ways how to get more money out of you and stuff like this. Some of you guys may be down encouragement, but some people probably are trying to tell you, you got this, don't worry about it, don't let it beat you down, pray, da 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 da. Some of you guys maybe having kids that have to be raised up by your mom and dad, but I feel like a lot of you guys are just like can't take it anymore, can't afford it, or maybe a lot of you guys on substance, and a lot of you are panicking. I feel like you're panicking because you just feel like this world here it's not gonna offer you anything. You're not gonna have anything, especially if you lost a lot of jobs and stuff. You may feel like you need to give it to your parents who actually had their retirement, who has money. Back in the days, a lot of parents have their own little spoons. So I feel like a lot of you guys are going to need helping hand from the government. Maybe you get money from your jobs when you work those jobs, but I feel like a lot of you still are in that panic stage of like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Well, you gotta learn to use the Aquarius energy. And Aquarius energy is more like stand up for your rights. And you may say, so you trying to tell us to start war? I'm not trying to tell you to start no nothing. You just have to be able to know that you're a human being, and the people have to understand that you're over human beings, you're dealing with human beings, and how would you feel if it was you that being treated the way you treat other people? So I think people just have to be able to see what's your karmic debt. So karmic debt is a big card focus on here, so I feel like people have to do people the way you want to be done. Because if not, hey, it's reaping and sowing. Reaper and a sowing, reaper and a sowing. Some of you guys may have to take out police reports, or some of you guys are just filing police reports. So I'm saying this because it could be something that's always being done. The police officer probably be jammed up with that. Like every 5 minutes, they get police reports about this and police reports about that. So it could be something dealing with police officers. Like, God dang, every time I turn around, so the police department is overloaded with statements of people coming in complaining about different stuff, and some of the stuff probably don't make sense to them at all. Some of the police officers probably looking at this like, what is that, Becky? What are you calling me for that, Becky? All this, ooh, order. What's the man name that playing the movie? He's like, don't let me have to slap you. So I feel like a lot of police officers are getting a lot of calls, bogus calls of just ego people. Just, I guess you call them Karens, right? Karens! Here go Karen again. Karen is calling you about somebody standing on her grass. That part of my grass, I had a hard time getting it to turn green, and now you're standing on it. And now I think when you move your feet from that grass, it's going to be brown again. I work really hard to get that brown spot in that grass to be green. And he's stepping on my grass. Police officer, come up here. Because this guy named, I don't know what his name, officer, he won't tell me his name, he won't show me his ID. Police officer, come out here and make sure he gets off my grass because that spot, I want it to be green. And the man's like, don't she know that's the sun? The sun can fry the whole entire lawn, and she worried about this spot being wet. Okay. So it's things like that I feel like officers, excuse me for laughing because it's not funny, but I feel like a lot of officers getting tired of all of these bogus behind calls, and they just feel like they kind of like losing their mind because you got one right here yelling and looking crazy like, you just call me for that. So yeah, these reports that they're taking, it's probably driving them crazy. Maybe I'm just overthinking, I don't know. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I'm going to end it right here because I don't want to upload a whole hour because I could talk for hours and hours and hours. Okay. Yeah, that's my song. I love that song. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this collective reading. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you need a personal reading, the description box will be below the videos. So I hope you... the personal readings, if you don't trust the personal reading, like I don't know her, I don't trust her, well, you keep listening to free ones, and hopefully something in there will help trigger something for you or help you, because I want to give you some raw insights, but I'm trying to not overdo it because I know that I'm kind of slip and slide, and I talk pretty fast, so I hope so much slip and slide, you know what I'm saying? Because, oh my God. And I'm trying to keep myself from cursing a lot because, honey, when I get hyped, the words of cursing just come out, and I'm like, Lord, work on me, Lord. Take away that tongue of mine. I do not want to be a cursor, okay? I don't like cursing laws. And I don't seem like I'm a bad person, but sometimes I feel like I'm horrible for cursing because it's like I learned it when I was young, and I was hyped when I learned it. So I thought it was cute then, but then once I got to get to know God really, really deep, and I got into cursing real a lot, and you may say, girl, you're talking about God. I do. You're talking about insights and spiritual work too. Well, yeah, that's just a long story. I feel like there's certain things that you can't do in dark art, like master manipulate people and trick them into getting readings, and then you tell them a whole lie, like, girl, I think you got a big toe that's going to grow up tomorrow, child. Yeah, girl. So you better make appointments in the doctor chair. Stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's dark art is when you do dark magic to try to get someone's husband, and you know for a fact that that's a marriage ordained by God. And I think when people do evil stuff with stuff, I think that's like a it's hard to actually do right because you want the money and you want the gifts or you want whatever you want, but you also have to be mindful and be humble and not be a hermit. Not hermits. What you call it? A person that collects a lot of stuff. Yeah, because sometimes you can get too much stuff and then you get like scared and frightened that you're not gonna have something. What if it ends? What if it ends? I can't share this. What if it goes down sometime? And see, once I've learned this spiritual work, I'm glad I sat back for a long time because at least it gave me a chance to appreciate things that I do have and when I do get stuff. And that way I can know how to give to other people and not feel like what I do will end, because what I do will never end, because God is God and God can't ever end, right? So God created us and spiritual world is forever. So I can't assume that me speaking spiritual world has an ending to it. People may not come and see it, I may not hear it, but as long as I'm speaking it out, you know, I know that it's always events going on with what I'm saying. I cannot say nothing online. I haven't said that to nobody, but as long as I'm doing what I do, having dreams, my dreams will never stop. God will never stop giving me dreams. I will never stop having visions and stuff like that. So I will always feel like it was never been an ending because I've been like this since I was a child. Okay, so imagine 2005, I actually got an understanding of it. Okay, and it made more sense. But I bought me a deck in 2005 and I tried to learn it and it was confusing. I couldn't understand cars, I couldn't comprehend it. So when people came out with their videos and stuff, it made me kind of like help me understand exactly what I was reading. But I was like, I have to do it my way. I have to put it in related status that it relates to me. So what I did was I studied the deck and I seen the Queen of Cups. So I got into the Facebook groups and stuff, and what I did was practice on people who would do it for free, who didn't mind you doing it for them. And I was like, oh my gosh, what a lick! Oh, I'm just gonna love this. So what I did was I uh, know that Queen of Cups was in back in the days. And I was like, how can this Queen of Cups here relates to people nowadays? How do she relates to what we do in days? So I said, I'm gonna try to see can I relate to our times. And I couldn't find a book to save my soul that relates to our times. It's always talking in a way of back in the days. And I was like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. This has to be relatable to what we're doing now. So what I did was they said, look at the picture. And the picture is basically, what is the queen doing? What does she have? What does she represent? She represents fire signs. She represents water signs. I'm sorry. So I had to go into the characters of what I experienced with Pisces, Cancers, and Scorpio people. So I knew those people. So I try to relate this card to maybe how a Scorpio person act, how a Pisces act. That's why when you hear my videos, I'm always relating to other people because that's the only way I can understand the card. I had to relate to other people. And I realized that when I did that inside the groups, oh my gosh, people in the groups was like, how did you know that? And I was like, really? And I was like, no, are you serious? And most of the times I get my understanding from when I just talk to people and I just random talk to people and then randomly it comes to me versus me reading a card. I'm like, a card to me was stupid. I'm like, I wasn't really good in school. I hate school. And it's not that I wasn't good in school, just that I never had time because I'm always having to take care of my brothers and sisters. So I never had time to actually concentrate in school because I'm having to work and then constantly having to tend to somebody else in a rush. So school was very hard for me to sit back and actually concentrate because I was forced to have ADH. You know what I'm saying? So when I learned that things about this card and I had to look at it and I said, oh, that's pebbles on the ground. What do pebbles represent? So it could mean that this person here is going through things and some things is very hard and complicated for people that's a water sign. And she has claws on the end. So that claws could represent somebody who has a Cancer type person that you have to deal with. And this person is very stingy. Or this person here wants to tick and tick and tick. And that's what I deal with in water signs. I deal with somebody who's constantly want to take and take and take for me. And then people who has kids. So there's a lot of kids around in this card. And I was like, oh, so maybe this person here has a lot of kids or keep having kids out of their emotions and out of attention because they want people to see them. So when I was talking about these cards, certain things would just come popping up in my head and it would just seem like a flaw. And all of a sudden people was like, yeah. How did you, what? Yeah. And so it was like, oh, wow. Okay. That's how I can get it like that. Because at first I was like, I'm not going to read the book accordingly. I don't understand Greek. I wasn't there. My God. A queen? everybody's not a queen. I kept saying, damn, this is hard because I can't imagine telling a woman, yeah, you're a queen and she's a regular person, don't take care of kids. And I had to put it in a Scorpio, what I know for Scorpios. And I know a lot of Scorpio women are not queen women, okay? And I know the Cancers are not queen women. And I know Pisces are not queen women. You may say, oh my gosh, that's evil. I'm saying a lot of that I know. Now, some of you guys gonna put yourself on the ego because you do put yourself on the ego. And a lot of people do put themselves on this pedestal. And the queen is somebody who gets pampered and who gets taken care of. So water signs do relate to that energy because a lot of them want you to take care of them and want you to make sure you do everything for you. Because they will sugarcoat you to do everything for them. Now they will cook and clean, but at the same time, they got you a whole shit list that you got to do for them in return. Okay, so that's something that I had to learn to do my way. And so a lot of people started creating cards according to words. And I was like, oh my God, that's a good idea. So I also started trying to create some words too to help me jump off two. And then either way it goes, you see one word and I didn't have time to read it. So I'm like, oh my God, I don't have time to read this. What I'm going to do now, because once you go live and once you start reading like I'm reading now, I don't have time to read the whole entire word. I need something that's going to jump off my mind. What do I do? So then now I look at one word and I say, okay, da 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 da, and then usually the card will say the certain thing. So I was like, okay, this is how I do this. So I try not to go too far in it, because like I say, some things could be positive about this, and a lot of stuff people can take it and twist it for their own agenda, which is negative. But like I said, it's a backfire. All things that you put out there and you do, you're gonna have to reap the reaper soil. So if you want to sit back and, like I said, for me, a lot of people tell me when they meet me or something, I'm working on basically jobs, not meet me. People don't see me like that. But I'm mainly talking about when I work with people and I go talking to them about stuff. And they're like, oh, you seem so smart. You seem so wise. Dang, you actually have a gift. And I'm like, you call it a gift? I don't know. And a lot of them is like, it's hard to kind of like tell them what they want to know, because once again, it takes time to get into that stuff, because when people realize what you do, they were like, oh my God, you could, and I'm like, it seems so amazing, it seems so ridiculous, but it drains you because I'm trying to work and then you trying to work and then you turn around and need me to answer questions after this and after that, and then it's hard for me because I have to work with you and then I have to turn around and see the results of me talking to you. So that's one thing I try to hide that from co-workers and stuff versus family members, and I'm telling them that, and it happened in front of them. Like, I just did readings earlier, and everything that I said in my readings was hitting so hard with people around me with the same zodiac sign. So that's one thing I hate too, is when I actually come out loud with them versus me just having dreams and it pops up and everybody seems to be going through it, what I've been speaking on, and especially when I'm with my co-workers, and it's like, oh my gosh, you remember when you told me that my husband, oh my gosh, you remember when you told me that this so-and-so, oh my gosh, so-and-so, this, da, 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 da. Like one guy, I said, why is he around me? And she was like, what you mean? Every time I look up, he's around me. I said, what is going on? Somebody in his family is bad, off sick or something's going on. And she was like, no, he got a depressed brother and his brother shot himself. And I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I felt like something bad was going to come down with him because I constantly kept seeing him, and it was scaring me because I was like, why am I seeing him? And I got to the point where I'm yelling at him and I'm flipping out on him, and he thought it was just a bad thing. And I didn't hate him. It just felt like something wanted me to warn him. So I ended up having a dream, and then when I had the dream, guess what? I did not see him. So when I had the dream with him shooting himself, and I couldn't find the guy. So I was like, I told one girl, I dreamt that we had a party at a job, and I dreamt that somebody was trying to X me, and I was like, what in the world? And so the girl was like, she don't know me. I was blah, 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 and I was running, trying to get away from it, because I was like, I'm trying to keep my job. I don't want to fight you. And a part of me was like, I try to swing, but when I try to swing, it was like a force pulled me back away from her, because I felt like I was going, and my impact felt like it was going to be really bad. And the part of me was like, why does she keep trying to test me? You know how some water signs people, or they kind of like feel like you don't know me. I was da 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 da. And it was just like a experience I didn't want to experience. And then all of a sudden, it was similar events that was happening, but I ended up, it was with my niece's mom, ended up being the person who I was about to, get into it with, versus hit her and that girl, both Scorpios, and they both hang together. So I was about to attack her, but she ran from me. She literally ran. And so that dream was kind of like conflicted because she was having a baby shower, and I was like, why is she having a baby shower? And my God, and the dream kept showing the baby shower over again. I was like, why is she having a baby shower? She didn't have a baby shower at that job. The other job gave her a baby shower. And that was letting me know that she was pregnant from somebody on the job. Okay. And she has my niece. So just imagine that. Okay. So she ended up flipping out and being all cocky and nasty, like, yeah, you find it, I find out, And at the time, she was in and out living with us. So, but she was also pregnant for some guy on the job. So that means that my brother is with her while she's pregnant by somebody else. So that's what it was. It was like me having a dream about what was going on, a whole mess, and it was a whole mess. And that's why the baby shower was there. And then the baby shower went from she must have got pregnant from him because his brother died as soon as the baby was born. Not his brother. I take that back. She was getting pregnant from him because his brother ended up shooting himself in his head, and the baby looked just like his brother. If you get what I'm saying. That's like shooting head. I hope it's okay for me to say that. But because the brother did what he did to him, it ended up she was pregnant and his life was ending. And I didn't know why I had a dream about him, and I didn't know why I had a dream about the baby shower. But now I kind of like get it now because she's pregnant from him and his brother died as soon as she got pregnant. And I was like, it makes sense now. Because in dreams, sometimes dreams is so confusing and it doesn't make sense when you dream it. And then sometimes when I do my cards, sometimes it don't make sense. And sometimes I have to vent like a bit now, and then it's like, oh wow, it makes sense now. So it was just a whole big mess. And I'm talking for an hour. What I said I want to upload this thing for an hour. So I might edit some of it. But anyway, have a nice day, guys. I hope you guys like this video. Comment below if you like it. Share, comment, and also don't forget to share, because if you share, the channel can build up. And then plus, if you subscribe, then I can